throughout the nation and around the globe. From his heart to yours, it's Dear James Live, bringing you intuitive insight, answers, and advice to your life questions.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wednesdays Live with Dear James and my amazing, fabulous co-host, the Lady Jaclyn. I am an intuitive. I offer intuitive insight, answers, and advice to your life questions. And the Lady Jaclyn is a human design expert offering amazing guidance with the human design system. And together we join forces and we do these Wednesdays live with all of you, taking your questions live. So as you join us in the broadcast, please put up into the comments that you're here, say hello, and tell us where you're joining us from so we can acknowledge you. And then again, throughout the broadcast, as we bring you the weekly energies and the information, submit your questions, submit your areas that you're needing guidance on or what's happening in your life. And the Lady Jaclyn and I will address your calls and questions and so forth as we do this live. Hello, Jaclyn.
Hello, dear James. Hello, everybody. Oh, listen, Wednesdays are my favorite days. I know we say this every time, but it is such a pleasure to be able to be with you guys here today. Good morning, good afternoon. And like James says, please let us know where you are tuning in from. Even if you are watching the replay, give us a comment, give us a shout out. It lets us know where we are reaching all over the world.
Absolutely. And also share. Please like, subscribe, share, tag people. If there are people that you feel would benefit from these Wednesdays live with the Lady Jaclyn and I, please, by all means, tag them in and spread the word, because we're here to enjoy this and have this moment and share it with you and offer intuitive insights and human design guidance and expertise. And that's really why we come together. It's about all of you. So, and just top off, right off the top of the hour, so Kelly is joining us. So hello, Kelly, and hello, Lori from Illinois. She says, I love Wednesdays, and we love Wednesdays too. You can see these smiles on our faces, so absolutely, this is a joy for us. You want to grab that one?
Oh, we have Elizabeth from France, and then we also have Anne that says hi. Hello, guys.
Hello. Everyone. Sorry, yeah, I was just chiming in with you, Jaclyn.
That's perfect. I was just going to say that it's so incredible to be able to be able to connect with everyone internationally, like all over the world. I mean, I'm sitting in South Africa. You're sitting where are you sitting in? Are you still
I'm still in the mountains. I'm in Colorado in the United States, freezing. Thank you very much. Can't wait to get back to California, to Los Angeles. So, yes.
I can imagine. We also have Sarah from Virginia as well. And Jennifer. Jennifer, hello as well.
Yes, and both Anne and Jennifer are in France, which is my second home. So love that you all are joining us from France as well, and everywhere from around the globe. This is just always an honor and a privilege, and it's exciting. So as you're joining, remember, please submit your questions, topics. If there's a specific question you want answered, if it has, in order for the Lady Jaclyn to give you insights from the human design perspective, please give your date, time, place of birth, and put it in there so that she can look at that and have your chart up and ready as we may answer questions. And so, Jaclyn, so this is, and this is a surprise for Jaclyn. Hello, Dominique. She's joining from Cape Town.
Hello, Dominique.
So I was guided this week, Jaclyn, as I was listening, and it's not a redo of last week by any stretch of the imagination. They've given me some new points to add, and this is one of the topics, one of the themes that one of our previous listeners from the show, when we asked for everybody to give us topics that they would like us to talk about. But it really fits in with the overall theme of 2022. And since we're in the month of January and we're really kicking off the year, the theme is about relationships. And so, and right off the top, And then I'm going to have you jump in with or however you want to do this, but we'll have you jump in with the human design gates and everything and what's happening with current energies. But one of the things about the relationships and about the energies, the overall energies of 2022, most all of the planets are going to be sitting in earth and water signs. Earth and water represent the feminine. Air and fire represent masculine. And so it's really important for everyone to realize that this year and kind of like this moment, we say 2022 and beyond, this moment is about our relationships. And the most important relationship you will ever have is with yourself. It is the one you come into this lifetime, and it is the one that you will leave this lifetime. And it's the relationship with self. It is your soul source relationship, your soul source connection. And so we're going to dive more deeply into that when I share the overall energies, but it's kind of this thing of relationships and how the divine feminine is going to play a massive role in our coming to terms with ourselves and with others and so forth. So Jaclyn, you want to jump right in with the human design energies and what you have for everybody for today's show.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. So just off the back of the relationship aspect, I like to always say that relationships are our mirrors, right? So it's never about the other, it's always about self. And I love how you said it's this the most important relationship you have is with self, because the relationship you have with other people is going to directly reflect back to you what you need to work on with yourself. And one of the biggest things, this biggest reframe that I would love to basically inspire everyone to kind of embrace and embody is the idea that it's never about the other, it's always about yourself. So even if you're having an argument with your partner, or even if you're having a disagreement at work, or even if, there's something that's triggering you with a person that you spoke to, and all of a sudden you want to react, you want to respond, you want to come from a place of, but they did this and they said that, but they need to change this. It's taking a moment, taking a breath, introspecting, turning the eyeballs inside and going, hold on, the triggers that are coming up is not about them, it's about me. Because we are all walking our own paths. We are all individually taking on this journey called life. And if you really come from a place of, I've got to work on me all of the time, and everyone that's around me is reflecting back on the things that I need to work on, your relationships are going to change. They are going to expand. They're going to explode. Either the person that's no longer complimenting you because you're working on yourself so much that the other person falls away, but it's not about kind of checking in and then kind of saying, oh, hold on, is this person good for me? No, you're kind of working on yourself, so automatically the universe takes them away. Or it's, good gracious, I'm working on myself, so now I'm deepening my connection and my bond and my juiciness with the person that I'm relating to. So it's always, it's like so powerful that we're starting with this today. And like James said, it was a surprise for me because we didn't have a discussion before saying, oh wait, today's going to be about relationships. But as you gave this beautiful intro to say that the most important relationship is with yourself, is I want to add in that idea of reframing the idea of it's about the other. It takes two to tango. It's about yourself. It's noticing and understanding it's never about the other. It's always about me. What can I learn from the situation? How can I grow? How can I transform? What needs to come up so that I can clear? How can I hold space for my emotions? And just watch how the relationships in your life flourish. So that is the first thing that I wanted to add. Yes, James, go ahead.
And I just want to tag in really quickly here, because this is an important piece, as Jaclyn just articulated. It's always for you. Remember, it's always happening for us, not to us. And I always tell clients and everyone that I read for and everything to remember, each of us on a soul level, it's all divine and neutral, and each person is showing up in our play. We show up in theirs, they show up in ours, and they are playing the role on a soul level. They are playing the role that we asked them to play. And so once you realize, and remember, it's that beautiful oyster in the pearl, if there isn't an irritant, if there isn't a grain of sand, the oyster will never produce a pearl. It requires an irritant. Now, we don't always have to, the irritant doesn't always have to be a negative experience, but it requires action-reaction. It requires a reflection, a mirroring. And so the people that come into our lives that we've asked to play roles, it's for us. It's for us to, as Jaclyn just brilliantly articulated, so that we will look at ourselves and say, what is it that I asked you to do? What role are you playing for me? What is it that I want to transcend? And thereby, once I get it, and I say thank you, because what we want to get to is, we want to go from the place of blame, it's you, it's happening to me, it's you, to gratitude. Thank you for playing the role I asked you to play. I got the lesson, I've transcended it, and I'm moving on. And that way, when the universe tests us, because we're asking the universe to test us, did we get the lesson? You can see it and go, oh, thanks, I saw it, I got it, no thanks, bye, got it, yep, got it, and you're on your way. Just wanted to add that in, Jaclyn.
It's so, listen, we can talk about this for days, hey, without even preparing. Because if I'm thinking about, relationships, we're saying it so eloquently and so easily, but let's be honest,
right, come on.
It's not as easy as it rolls out of our tongues, you know what I mean? It's kind of going, hold on, you have to really take full responsibility and
Absolutely.
of be willing to say, hang on, it's not about this person who keeps throwing their socks on the floor, or it's not about, my kid screaming in the background, or it's not about my coworker who is selfish. It's about what is it bringing up within me that is going to make me the best version of myself. And like you so beautifully said, James, your soul chose this life already. You signed that contract. I don't know if you guys seen the meme on Instagram, but I saw it a while ago, and it's literally it wasn't a meme, it was actually a reel, and the guy was I'm drawing in this like a contract online. He's saying yes, I want this, and then you come into the human experience, and then he's hiding under a blanket going, okay, wait, why did I choose this? But that's exactly it. It's acknowledging that our soul has already chose this path for a reason. So number one, you're strong enough and you're confident enough to be able to deal with it. And number two, every person that comes into your life is designed to catapult you into being the best version of yourself. And I'm going to relate it a little bit to human design quickly, because within human design, you can actually see your angles. So you get the left angle, the right angle, or the juxtaposition angle. It's the cross of incarnation. And when you look at your cross, right, just on a very foundational level, if you've got a left angle, what happens is that it's basically permission for you to know that every single person that comes into your life is there 100% for a reason. It's karmically defined. So even though our souls, every single one of us, doesn't matter what angle you have, we all, there's a reason for everything that happens, right? When you look at your human design chart, now you can identify specifically, hang on, it's not just about me, my journey, me, myself, and I, and my journey. It's every person that's coming in, based on my left angle, is karmically destined. It's been put there, that specific person, whether it be a person who's begging on the side of the road, whether it be a cashier, every single person is designed specifically for your growth, but as well as their growth. Because it's people, basically, with a left angle, it's about people impacting your life, your trajectory, your direction of your life, as well as you're impacting somebody else's. With a right angle, it's about your personal direction, not necessarily there's a specific karma involved with each person, but again, because of your soul contract, what did you do? You wanted certain lessons. So life is going to bring you people at the right time to catapult you again into the highest expression of yourself, so you can learn those lessons, but it's not necessarily specific for that specific person, if that makes sense. So even with human design, we can kind of decipher and understand, and it really helped me because I have a left angle cross. And then when I realized that, I actually looked back in my life and I realized how impactful every person who came into my life was, not only was I to them, but them to me, and how there was a possibility of them changing the direction of my life based on where I was at any given time. And what's also happened, it's given me the permission and actually the acceptance to now appreciate every single person that I speak to, whether it be, like I said, a person that I don't know, a random stranger coming up to me asking for directions. It's like I'm consciously aware of every single person who comes into my energy space is there for a reason. I'm either there to guide them in that moment, maybe give them a little bit of my energy, or they're there to give me a little bit of something, or even a big something to change the trajectory of my life. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And as you were speaking about that, there two things came. One is that beautiful saying about people come into our lives for a reason, a season, a lifetime. And that's a beautiful truth, but it's also to remember that sometimes when we see people and we think they're here for a lifetime, and all of a sudden we realize or experience as life occurs, life happens, and you realize that it's not a lifetime, or in the way that they were there in a lifetime changes. And we have to be willing to change with it. Because if we try to hold on to people, or they are trying to hold on to us, everything is evolving, everything is changing. So while, yes, people come into and as the left angle and the right angle from human design and everything as Jaclyn was speaking about, it's like you're able to look back, but a personal experience, somebody that I have had in my life for a very long time, that I would call family, a friend that a family, it's that friend-family conglomeration mashup, and somebody that you don't walk away from lifers easily, and yet the circumstances mandated it. The circumstances, and so while that person is somewhat still a lifetime, you're there in a lifetime, they're absent now. And I had to make space for that. I had to make space for who I am today, who they are today. And so in that, you want to recognize in our relationships, allow people to grow, allow people to change, allow people to be the chameleon, the incarnation within the incarnation. We're going to have multiple us's in one lifetime. And that's what we want. We want that. So that was one thing that came in as the season, the reason, for a reason, a season, a lifetime. And the other thing is to remember, we are all 100% whole and complete when we arrive. From the infant that's coming in to the newborn that's coming into its mother and father, parents, care provider, to the well-established, the youthful elderly, this beautiful life lived. We are whole and complete. So as we talk about relationships and relationship with self, remember, you are whole and complete just as you are. So when people come into your life, look at them as though you are whole and complete. Are they adding something? Is it 100 plus? Not 50-50 and not, oh, they're my soulmate and they complete me and all that good stuff. That is a statement of lack, that something's missing. And nothing is ever missing, because as we're talking about souls and soul contracts and, it's all already there. It's all full. It's all 100%. And, just a quick little tidbit, Jaclyn, before we continue on. I laugh about the soul contracts because we always go along, everyone's like a soul contract and you're like, yeah, it's a soul contract and yes, it's in there. And then when it's really challenging and everything, we'll sit and go, I'm sorry, did you read the fine print? Because somewhere in clause such and such, there's got to be the fine print that really I signed up for this. I said I would do
But I
this.
missed you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. Where did I miss the magnifying glass part? I mean, so that's our joke. It's our levity. I share that because it's like it's a levity piece, right? It's like, yep, it's in the fine print. We just didn't read. It's like when they say, "Oh, do you want this software or whatever?" Did you read the terms? Oh, for the love. Yeah. Everybody just goes, Yep, I did.
Yeah.
And then later you go, what does it mean? What? It says what? It's all about the fine print.
Absolutely. Listen, it's so beautiful because it's going to jump straight into what I wanted to speak about today, which is the Pluto. and Pluto being in the gate 60, and we can already feel the energy. So it's gonna transition from the in January 14th, right? So it's about, what is today? 12th. Yeah, 12th. So it's about 2 days time. We're going to transition into the gate 60. But because Pluto is such a big planet, we're feeling the energies already. So there's a lot of energies happening. So I don't know if you guys have been feeling it already. Let me know. Let us know in the comments. Have you been feeling all the fields? Have you been feeling the emotions? Have you been feeling this huge shift? I mean, we have Venus in retrograde. We've got Mercury that's going in retrograde on the 14th. We've got there's a full moon on the 17th, 18th, which is Monday, Tuesday-ish next week. I mean, there's a lot happening, right? But to continue with what James was talking about, the limitation, Pluto is the planet of transformation, and the gate 60 is understanding that limitation is the first step to transcendence. So if you're thinking about, at the moment, you're thinking that there's a bit of scarcity or there's a lack, or you've got those feelings or those thoughts of limitation or scarcity or not having, enough, because there's a bit of like duality that's coming up now as well with Capricorn, and then the full moon, I think, is in Cancer. So what we're having at the moment is kind of like this ambition. We spoke about this last week, is that ambition, that masculine energy, and then we have the feminine energy and the openness, the surrender, and the receiving, right? So it's kind of going right now to understand that the limitation that you're feeling is perceived lack, because so beautifully James mentioned that we're all coming in as whole, right? We're all whole beings. We're all whole souls, individuals. And it's almost like because of life, we're basically just remembering our worth. We're remembering how whole we actually are. And so the limitation that you're experiencing now is reframing it to say, it's not about the lack, because the limitation is that first step to transformations, that first step to transcendence. So any subconscious conditionings, any deep-rooted beliefs that are no longer in alignment with where you're going are going to be coming up. And we know also with the full moon, it affects the emotions just like the moon affects the water, the tides. We're 75% water, so it affects our emotions. So this is a time, as much as you want to push and be ambitious, it's a time to give yourself space and hold, I want to say, space for your emotions. Allow yourself to feel and move through what you're feeling while acknowledging and bringing awareness to what is actually coming up for you. A lot of subconscious conditionings and beliefs are coming up so that we can actually reprogram it, so that we can step into a newness that is waiting for us in 2022. I mean, we spoke about this from the get-go. We ended off last year saying that there's beautiful, new, magical things coming. This is the work. Like, when people say, you got to take action, you got to do the work, you got to, that hustle vibe, this is the work. This is where the action needs to take place. This is where you're taking inspired action by actually allowing yourself to feel, allowing yourself to be kind to yourself as you figure out, as you embrace, as you grow in awareness, as you embody what needs to clear so you can make space. James said, make space so that you can let the new come in, so you can have the transformation that's waiting for you, so you can move through, so you can level up, right? So that's the Pluto energy. And then it goes into, as well, what I wanted to mention is Jupiter is in the gate 55, supported and led by the universe. How many of you feel triggered when you don't feel supported by your partner, or you don't feel supported by your family, or you don't feel supported by your friends, or you don't feel like you feel isolated, you feel alone, maybe you feel like people don't get you, maybe you feel like you've disconnected, right? Those are all trigger points for you to realize it's not about the other, it's not about the relationship, not about the person, it's about you, and the fact that maybe you've got deep-rooted subconscious beliefs that you aren't supported, that you aren't protected. Because at the end of the day, the truth is that you are supported, you are protected, you are divinely guided. We spoke about this last week with the universal ambition, with your soul's ambition, right? The ambition is there because it's not going to be there and then it's going to be like, psych, we're going to give you a few tests and we're actually not going to give you the candy. It's going to be like, listen, we've got this idea for you that's bigger than you can even imagine right now, and we want to show you the way. So follow us, so trust us being source, divine, spirit, universe, whatever resonates with you. But it's letting go as well of the need to know, and that comes strongly for the next couple of days, because at the moment the sun is in gate 61. Whoa, friends, am I feeling that? The 61 is all about the mysteries of life, trying to figure out life, asking why, wanting to know, needing to know the certainty, and with that, the overthinking, that leads to the shadow of psychosis, which is obsessing too much about trying to find an answer or trying to find a way through, right? Mental energy, a lot of anxiety, a lot of mental frustration. If you're feeling that right now, it's because of the transits, but it's also there to show you, hang on, I'm too much in my head. I'm not trusting. Maybe I'm coming from a place of lack. Maybe it's my deep-rooted subconscious belief that's coming up, so that I can clear, so that I can open my heart, so that I can be ready to step into who I truly am and actually receive what's waiting for me already. Does it make sense?
Yes, absolutely. And it's amazing how this ties in. And I'm just going to quickly, Jaclyn, as you were eloquently articulating everything and the current energies and the gates and everything, like it seems to be happening. We lost our signal for a moment. We ramped it right back on. I was very quick. So if you have rejoined us and you had submitted questions, there was others that had joined us. I know there were 2 that were submitted. So if you will repost them, because we lose when the signal drops, we lose the comments. So please place them back in, and just tell us that you're back online with us and everything, so we can see you and know that you're here, and we will continue on. So I wanted to add, so yes, before we take your questions while we're waiting for them to come in, so Jaclyn, it's really brilliant. It's funny. I was going to say to you about relationships and energies right before the show, and I was like, nope, we got this. We always have this. And so it's just so brilliant with these, with the gates that you're talking about, 60, 55, 60, well, the sun in 61. And I'm looking at this and how that energy is, and it is that energy of, I got to figure it out. What's happening? What are we doing? This kind of, it's a manic energy in a way. And you think about it too, because it's the beginning of the year. And so we look at it and we think, okay, is it because it's the new year and, we kind of have that built into our psyche about new year and we're supposed to get going and hurry up and there's an intensity about it. And actually, it's a clearing. The way they just said it to me, it's like, it's this moment of, as Jaclyn just articulated, of slow down. And this brilliantly ties into the overall energies that we discussed last week, which in this 2022, the hexagram 20 is about overview, contemplation. It is about going within and looking, taking time, instead of rushing out. And especially because Mercury retrograde is coming up here. It's starting on Friday, I believe. It's going to be, I believe, in Taurus. It's in an earth sign, I believe. And thereby, so things, boots on the ground, things that affect our physical are going to get a review, a reshuffle, and so forth. So it's like, you don't want to go run out and sign up for, a new apartment or a place to live during a Mercury retrograde or in the shadow, because it's going to change, or something about it isn't going to be what you thought it would be, or, there's changes in that. And Mercury retrograde also speaks to, I always say, slow down, gear down. It's an opportunity. It's not a punishment. Mercury retrograde is about review, re-looking at things, taking the time. And here we're talking about relationships and relationship with ourself. Take time to look at yourself. Take time to look at the relationship you have with everything, your surroundings, the people in your life, work, family, all these different things. Look at them from that perspective and see what needs augmenting, what needs change, what needs to be released. So that when Mercury goes direct and when the momentum occurs, and that'll be kind of into early mid-February, you'll be ready to act. You will have a greater perspective. And I want to put up a quote that was, because this talks to the frustration part you were talking about and everything with this energy. and how, and it says, and it's a beautiful quote, it says, when you lose your way, life always hands you a map that says, you are here. So all you ever have to do is stop and say, where am I? And you're going to hear. It's going to be that, it's another beautiful way of saying, I am. You can do these beautiful mantras and affirmations about, I am joy, I am love, and they instantly change you. Well, when you ask, or who am I? And you'll hear back. You'll hear that question. You can ask, who am I? Well, this is about when you're frustrated or you feel like you're stuck or you're lost or you're in that and you're wanting to move forward, but we're in a review period. Ask, where am I? Where am I? And you're going to hear. And you might literally go, oh, I'm right here in this moment. I'm in this beautiful pastoral country home. I'm sitting with the birds and the butterflies and that's where I am. And it brings your focus and your attention to that spot. And then anything that was frustrating you or bothering you kind of releases, it washes away. Because you're never lost, you're always somewhere. And that helps to ground you, and it helps to shift your perspective. And it also, and again, relationship, it brings you into perfect grace and harmony in relationship with yourself, with your soul self. Because your soul knows, oh, here's where you are. Your mind is going to tell you that you're somewhere else, or that you're behind, or you're late, or you're frustrated, or you're blah, 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 blah. But your soul will go, oh, you're right here. Here's where you are. And you'll know what to do. The next one is about, 22 is about growth. So here we're talking about, right, Jaclyn, we're talking about this, how to use this moment and this time, not this frenetic energy, this kind of review energy, for a growth moment, right? For growth, for opportunity. So that when it's time, when the iron's hot, you strike. Well, 22, so 2022. So 22 is about adornment and grace and beauty, adornment. And we naturally think to adorn physical things or external things, our wardrobes, our homes, our vehicles. We think of it as an external adornment. This year, 2022, is all about internal adornment. It is believing I am whole and complete. It is about saying and believing I am enough. I have always been enough. I will always be enough. And operating from this inner state of grace, beauty, self-empowerment, self-love, self-knowing. That is the relationship you want to work on this year and onward the most. Because once we master that, we master our other relationships because we're not looking to them to fulfill us. We're not needy. We're not in lack. We're not in need. We have what we need. We're whole and complete. And it's not hubris. It's not arrogance. It's not entitlement. It's grace. Grace is. Grace just is. And there's another beautiful quote I'm going to put up. And it says, you can only lead others toward growth if you are willing to grow yourself. And it's very true. How many times do we encounter everyone has an opinion? Everyone wants to tell you what to do with your life and how to do it and what you're not doing right and what you should do and yabba dabba dabba dab. But this is about when we truly grow ourselves, true internal growth is looking in. It's as Jaclyn said in the very beginning. It's never about the other person. It's always the opportunity that it presents us to look in and finally get to a place of saying, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for showing up, for playing the role. And sometimes, my gosh, yes, Jaclyn, sometimes isn't it the joy of a really great friend parent, sibling, family, colleague, coworker. Yes, 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 yes. And other times it comes in the cloak of an opposite. It comes in the grain of sand, the irritant. That and yet the what's on offer, the gift, the pearl, the lesson, the transcendence is the same. It's divine and neutral. But we want to get to that place, that state of grace, to say, of gratitude, to say thank you. Because it must have been, when you really stop and think about it from a soul perspective, if you're able to look at the other person, or when you're able to look at the other person and say, it must have been incredibly challenging as a soul for you to show up and play the role you just did for me. And I got it. And I needed it. I got it. And I've accepted it and transcended it. And I release you, or we move on, we transcend together, or I release you. And it's that beautiful statement, namaste. Namaste means I bow to the divine in you. And so when we realize that that's what's in the center of all of us, is divinity. And so it's a beautiful, beautiful piece. So not to get too heavy and, pick it up and levitate here. Let's levitate, Jaclyn. Let's just levitate. Come on, everybody. Let's just levitate. This is what Wednesdays do to Jaclyn and I, and hopefully all of you listening. We get into this zone, into this space of just...
into the zone, yep.
It's just such a gift. So let's catch up on the comments here and everything. And I know there's 2 comments missing. One, I believe, came in from Michigan, Illinois. She's in the Midwest. And
I know I got Anne, so I've got
there we
Anne
go.
still. Anne, let us know if you're still on live with us. And then I'll answer your question where you asked, what should I add to my vision board? Just let us know. And then I also do have Elizabeth as well. Elizabeth,
Perfect.
let us know. I've also got your details. Let us know if you're still with us as well, because then we'll take your questions. And then just to quickly catch up on, Jill says, I love that fine print. Yes, don't we all? And then Elizabeth also says, feeling it. Yes, feeling all of the changes. Laurie also says, definitely feeling it. Dominique says, definitely feeling all the feels, and the shift has been significant. And then Kaylee also says, we need a spiritual magnifier. Don't we, right?
And just Kelly, yes, and you and I and Jaclyn and everybody listening and you are that spiritual magnifier. You are the spiritual magnifier. So what you need, you are. So just think about this right now. Like we just said, let's levitate, and Elizabeth's like, yes, let's do it. Yes. So it's exactly that. You are the spiritual magnifier. Magnify that light. It radiates. Everybody feels it. We're all energy. And then it ripples out in the most beautiful, positive way. So
I want to quickly say, I and Jennifer said a comment here. I want to quickly read it. She said, wish I could just go on a walkabout for several months and do this. Take time to enjoy the relationship I have with myself and reevaluate my relationships. So what's so beautiful is it's so powerful, James. Like it really stood out for me, because I think a lot of people come from that mindset of if I could only, or I wish I could, right? And it's kind of going, that's that limitation we spoke about in the beginning, which is highlighted by Pluto. So it's coming up for you exactly how you also placed that comment. It's like, I wish I could, meaning it's not the right time, or I don't have access to, or the resources don't allow me to, right? This is your invitation to reframe the way, and this goes for everybody, right? Myself included. Reframe the way you approach a situation that you are facing right now and say, I can. And what does that look like? If I can now, because I can, what is the next step going to look like? Maybe it's not going to be that you're going to go, you're going to be self-isolating on an island for several months, but maybe you can start the process of solely focusing, primarily turning your focus, shifting it from outside, shifting it inward, and saying, I'm only going to focus on me right now. even though I have to maybe go to a job, maybe, work on my business, maybe I've got kids running around, maybe I've got a husband that needs dinner, whatever the case is, but I'm going to really just focus on me while I still take the action that I've chosen to take it in my life. But I'm going to refocus my attention, my energy from external, and I'm going to zoom in on me right now. I'm going to acknowledge and notice every single trigger. And maybe I won't find clarity in that moment of what it means, but I know that just by having the awareness, the next step is accepting where it comes from, and the next step is the transformation, right? It's changing it. What's so beautiful, and I can say this because I practiced it, is, James, you were speaking about, the other. You can look at the other and you can say thank you. It's really, even though your first initial reaction is, or your first initial response is to react, is to kind of go, oh, I want to punch you because you left your socks on the floor. But it's kind of going, oh, wait, I see myself, like, I want to respond. I want to shout out, but I'm so grateful that you've done this, because now I can see how much I've grown. Like, you get to the point where you actually, instead of reacting, instead of responding, instead of jumping into the human experience, the 3D world, right? You transcend it, and you actually have this awareness that all of a sudden you just give gratitude. It is so liberating. It is so freeing, because you're solely focusing on yourself, which makes your relationships with everyone around you so much juicier. Like, so much juicier.
And for Jennifer, her comment to tag on to that, it's the author Wallace D. Wattles, in his book. It's a trilogy, and it was written 100+ years ago. And again, small acts in great ways. So in this instance, where yes, the desire might be that I want to go off for 2, 3, 4, 7 months, a year, or whatever, a year sabbatical, and be solo and on my own. That's the pinnacle. That's the ultimate desire. What am I able to do in this moment? Am I able to take a day a week where anybody and everyone in my life, you make dinner, you tend to your studies, you tend to what you need, because you need to grow, and I'm going to grow, and I'm going to make space for myself, and I'm going to make space for you, because in my absence, you'll either rise or fall. And if I never take that small step that moves me in a great way, I'll never know what that 24 hours might be like. I'll never know what that entire 12 hours of a day might be like, where I just sat with myself. And then you're able to come back and discuss with each other, well, how did it go? And what happened? And, oh, well, you might want to try this next time, and, and so forth. But we're making space for everyone to rise, for everyone to grow. Because if we say, as Jaclyn said, if we speak from a place of, I can't do it, or until then, or it will never happen, you'll never have that great moment, because we're waiting for it to some other place, some other time, some other, ability or construct has come in. So it's like, they're saying to me, like, pull the Band-Aid off, just do it, and allow people, let the cards fall where they may. Let people rise and fall. Let them see, let everyone walk a mile in someone else's shoes, moccasins, that type of thing. So that was coming in. And Jennifer also mentioned, this is for a future show, Jaclyn, that she would love to see eventually if we could talk about how to intertwine psychology and intuition in terms of that. And yes, so we'll put that into a future show and go from there. So do you want to take, is it Anne that had the question about the vision board?
So Anne, I don't know if Anne is still here. So I'm going to jump to Elizabeth, because Elizabeth said that she is still here.
Okay.
And then Anne, if you are still live with us, please let us know, and then I'll answer your question. So Elizabeth, let me just go back to your question quick. I need a change, but not sure what. Thanks, Anne, for that very broad question. Let's dive into your energy. And of course, it would be a needing for change, manifesting generator, because you're wanting to get things going. Like, manifesting generators are, remember, the types that love to skip steps. So they love to get things going. They're the ones that can do this, and then if they feel like really inspired and curious about another area, they can do that area. They've got the energy because of that defined sacral center. They've got the energy to do multiple things if it lights them up, right? So if you're looking at change, let's quickly see. For you, remember, now that goes for everybody, within human design, we're able to understand and truly embody the way that we individually are designed to make decisions. Now, you can see with Elizabeth's question, Elizabeth, you're at a crossroads where you need to make a decision, and really a big decision, whether it be in a relationship, whether it be in a career, business, whatever the case is. It's a really big decision. Now, with human design, we can look at your inner authority, and it's sacral. So what does that tell us? The sacral center being defined, because you're a manifesting generator, tells us that you are designed to make decisions by trusting your gut. You've also got a defined splenic center, which means you've also got a heightened sense of intuition and knowing in the moment of what you need. You've got the channel 5720, right? Which is literally being present in the moment, the awareness, the intuition in the moment, the gut response, knowing what is right for you right now. Not tomorrow, not 5 years from now, especially with sacral beings. And I also see this with splenic inner authorities, is sometimes it's a little bit challenging to really plan too in advance, just because of the fact that your sacral will tell you in the moment what is right for you or not. So maybe you've, say, for example, planned your quarter, but then you'll actually see, oh, hang on, your quarter will actually change. What you're needing, what you're desiring, what you're wanting in that moment has changed, even though you've planned something different. Okay, so I just want you to keep that in the back of your mind when you're trying to overly plan too far in advance. Kind of know, hang on, I've got to leave space for what feels good to me in this moment. So for you, whenever you're looking about, I need a change, I don't know what, you do know. That idea of not knowing is you trying to, or it's not you trying, but it's that shadow side. It's that fear, the fear of, remember, we can look at those fear gates that come from that splenic center, 32, 44, 57, 48. So it tells us the fear of failure. I need a change, I don't know. You do know. Maybe it's that fear of failure. I don't want to fail, so therefore I'll just be safe and say I don't know, right? Or 48. I don't know enough. That feeling of inadequacy. I don't know enough. Or 57. I fear that I'm not going to be able to cope. If I make the change that I already know, deep down inside your subconscious knows, we all know already. Because why? Because we're supported, we're guided. Universe is guiding us, right? Source is guiding you. So they're going to give you the answers at the right time. So the idea of not knowing is actually your ego trying to keep you safe, because it doesn't want you to step out of your comfort zone. So when you look at your change right now, look at it and say, I do know what needs to change or what needs to happen. Or maybe you aren't consciously aware of the knowing, so you embrace and say, I'm open to receive the knowing at the right time, and I trust that it will come. Very different energy to, I need to change, I don't know. Because you're kind of, it's like a bit of a lie to yourself, and you can pick up when people are, you're lying to yourself. So the change, you do know. If you don't know exactly right now what needs to change, be open to receiving and trust that the answer will come to you, and then work on those fears that are keeping you in that not knowing, that lack, that scarcity that we spoke about, that's really heightened right now because of all the energies. Sorry, that feeling of, I don't know enough, because you do know enough. You go in depth in things. You're the person that dives deep inside into the nitty gritty. You're not just about fluff. You're deep. There's depth to you, right? And also your knowing comes from experience. You've got 3s in your chart, the profile 3. So it's about investigating, but it's also about experimenting, experiencing. To tap into those fears of not feeling good enough, not knowing enough, not that fear of not being able to cope, and that fear of failure, that idea that, hang on, maybe the past, when I made a sudden change like this, it didn't work. Now you're fearing that it's going to come into your present moment. So check in with those fears. And the last thing is just to reiterate again, is the way that you're designed to make decisions is truly to trust your gut, is trust your inner knowing. It needs to feel like a kid in a candy store, right? If it's a maybe, it's a no or not right now. A maybe for a defined sacral being, a manifesting generator and a generator, is never a yes. It's a no or a not right now. Okay, so you do know. If you want more clarity, ask for it, surrender and trust in the knowing that you will receive it. Work on those fears that are coming up for you a reason, so that that are coming up right now for a reason, so that you can move through them, you can transcend them, you can reframe them, so that you can step into the newness, the openness that already your soul is guiding you, because your soul is saying, we're looking for a change. We want to change. But your 3D ego self is kind of keeping you, oh, hold on, what happens if I fail? Oh, hold on, what happens if I can't cope? Oh, hold on, I don't know enough. Those are all fears. Those are all things that are just keeping you safe. It's limitations. Remember, limitation is the first step to transcendence, the first step to transformation. So now that you know and understand those limitations that are keeping you in that scarcity, now you can say, hold on, that's not the truth. The truth is, what is the truth? The truth is that I'm intuitive. The truth is that I'm able to cope. The truth is that I am able to see the patterns, that I do know in the moment where my energy needs to go, that I am a natural investigator, and that I am naturally ambitious. Make sense?
Yes, and I'm going to tag on to it.
Go for it.
So, Elizabeth, yes, because, instantly what I got was that, it's like this phrase, stuck in a rut. It's like you're stuck in a rut, and it's this thing of like you've forgotten the magic. You've forgotten, it's as if you're in this beautiful place. You're in France, but you've forgotten the magic. And the magic comes from within. It comes from perspective. It comes from changing perspective. And so, and they're also saying to me, you've suffered some disappointments. People have let you down. They haven't lived up to their part or their share. And so whether this is, it's they're showing it to like almost in a carousel way, like in a circle, that it's all kind of swirling around you. It's got you, confused, off balance. And there's a statement in your head of like, this is so not me. Like, I don't live this way. I don't operate this way. And so what they're wanting you to do is, so they're saying, quote unquote, come back home. Now, come back home can be literal, but it can also mean come back home, meaning come back to center, come back to self. And in that way, you clear out all the cobwebs, you make space for yourself to see, to hear, as Jaclyn is talking about. Here you have, you're a master generator, you have this intuitiveness, you make decisions, you know what to do, and so forth. So it's about you coming back home is coming back to center. It's, step out, take time for you. Go walk the Jardin des Tuileries, go walk, go to Versailles, whatever it is that stimulates your soul, your being, go back home to that, so that when you make these decisions, you're making them from a place of real clarity, real truth. The sense is that you do, Jaclyn mentioned that, you do have some big decisions to make. And yet, just because they're big decisions doesn't mean they need to be overwhelming. Break them down, one by one. Do I stay in France or do I leave? Do I go home, literally? Do I stay in this relationship? Do I stay in this job? And you can insert. This is because they're saying you're at an inflection point. It's really about, what do you want? How do you want this to go? What do you want the second act to look like? If you're not living the act, it's your play, right? Everyone's playing a role in your play. It's all here. If it's not the way you want it to be, if the play isn't turning out the way you want it to turn out, well, you get to write a new script. You get to change characters. You get to change locations, sets. That's all up to you. And anybody will either grow with us, transcend with us, evolve with us, or they won't. So just break everything. The moral of the story for you is break everything down and trust. Go back home, meaning go back to your center, so that you know that every decision you make, because they're giving me this very erudite, it's a beautiful, like, again, it's kind of the carousel with the striped pole, that beautiful ornate striped pole, and it's very erudite. You have the ability. It's just fall in love with yourself again. Fall in love with the magic. Fall in love with your dreams, what you desire, and then make informed decisions. Because again, it's a 2022 that's this overview, this contemplation, this looking from a greater vantage point so as to adorn the inside out. And once we adorn from the inside, the outside will match it. It will mirror it. So that's what I have for you, Elizabeth. Let us know if that resonates and everything. We're going to go back here.
Kelly. So Kelly gave her, Kelly, you gave your details, but you didn't give a question. So if you want to pop a question into the comment section, that would be amazing, because I've got your chart up for you. And then also, just before, while we wait for Kelly to do that, guys, wherever you are joining us live from, and if you're watching this on the replay as well, whether it be on Facebook or YouTube, give us a like, give us a follow, give it a share, and also remember to tag friends or family members. I was going to say people. Tag people in that you know will benefit from this message, because this is the reason we're doing it, is to spread the wisdom, to spread the love, to spread the empowerment, and to kind of make sure that everyone receives that needs to receive. And it's with your help that we're able to do that. Remember, you can join us every Wednesdays live. Myself and James, we are here every Wednesdays, whether it be on YouTube, on Facebook, or on James's Twitter account. And I see Kelly has responded. Oh, Elizabeth says thank you. Yes, it resonates. It's everything. That's so spot on. So I'm so glad and happy that you received that message, because it was powerful and it was super deep. And also, because there was a lot of information, what's so beautiful is that there is a replay. So there's going to be a replay on Facebook. There's going to be a replay on YouTube. So you can go back and also just watch it again. And then Elizabeth just said as well, that was amazing, and it is everything. If I should stay in France, in my relationship, and go after being a professional artist. So it was spot on.
Yes, that's
spot on, right?
Look at that. And so, yes, and so that's why it's so important, Elizabeth, and this is true for everyone. But this applies to everyone, but yes, Elizabeth, this is why, it's Rise of the Guardians. It's an animated movie. And Santa Claus turns to Jack Frost and has a nesting doll, and he says, "What's at your center?" This is why you, quote unquote, going home and deciding whether or not that is literal or figurative, but by us going home, by us going to our center, to our soul source connection, and clearing out all the cobwebs, all the static, all the noise, it will empower you to make these quote unquote big decisions, and yet from a place that is okay. And you break them down, and one by one, because you everywhere you go, there you are, right? That is the truth of the statement. So it wouldn't matter if you never address what's at your center, if you never come back home, meaning connect to your core, to your center. Everywhere you go, there you are. You'll have an experience or repeat the same things. And this is why it's important for anybody and everyone listening, and specifically Elizabeth, the guidance for you is about go back to your center. You're magical, is the way they're saying it to me. You have a really you're a magical being. You have a magical aura. And yet that's kind of been dulled and snuffed out, and with disappointments in life and this and that, and so it's dulled, it's a rut. And what you want to do for you is re-energize that that energy, that joie de vivre. You know, it's that beautiful. It is that beautiful energy. And once you kind of, you stoke those fires, then you're gonna know, because you're gonna elevate yourself. You're gonna know what to do, and you'll do it unapologetically. So, and that again, from a state of grace, from a state of gratitude, grace and everything, but it can also be that it's unapologetic because it's just pure, it's true. It doesn't need an apology. It's simply joie de vivre. It's the life. It's be the life. Be that star. Okay, Jaclyn, who's up next?
Okay, Kelly. So Kelly responded and she says, where I'm headed. Where am I headed? Okay, so Kelly, let's start off. I love these really, what's so funny, hey, is that it speaks so true to the gate 61 energy, guys. Like, you have no idea. Well, I'm going to tell you now, so you're going to have an idea. But 61 is all about the mysteries of life, right? It's trying to understand and figure out the mysteries of life. And look at these big, beautiful, yet vague mystery questions. It's like, I need a change, or where am I headed? It's like this mysteriousness of life that you're wanting to figure out. You want certainty. And it's so beautiful to see the energy in play. It's like practical examples right in front of us right here. So Kaylee, let's jump straight into your chart quickly. So your human design chart is a generator. So your type, is a generator. So when we look at your generator type, what that tells us is, for you, it's really important, because remember, you've got a defined sacral center. So for you, it's really, really important to, again, trust your gut response. Trust that in the moment, you know exactly what needs to happen, and your behavior will flow based on where your energy is at. So if, for example, you also sound like you're at a crossroads, like, where am I headed? Maybe there's like two possible options of where you're needing to go for you. And because you like change, so there's an element to you where you want change. You want to experience the sweetness that life has to offer, that, that James was talking about to Elizabeth. It's actually a lot to do with you as well, where that joie de vivre, that pleasures, that joy of life, right? It's re-tapping back into the joy of life. So for you, when you look at where you're headed, it's, again, trusting your intuition, trusting your gut response, trusting your energy. What that means is, if, for example, let's take a career path. Like, if you're in a career right now and you can feel like the energy is just not there, that your body is telling you that it's time for a shift, right? Take a practical example, would be you're having a conversation with a person, all of a sudden you're like, oh no, I don't have any energy for this right now, like, I'm done with the conversation. That is your body's guidance system telling you, okay, you're done now, you're moving on, right? So check in with your energy, check in with what is your body, what is your energy trying to tell you. Your decision-making authority, slightly different to Elizabeth, where yours is an emotional solar plexus. So you've got the defined solar plexus, which tells us that you've got a natural emotional wave, right? So for you, it's not making big decisions in the moment based on how you feel, but it's saying, okay, this is how I feel now. Let me check in 24 hours from now. Let me check in tomorrow morning, and let me see if I still feel the same way. And then by allowing yourself the clarity in allowing all of the emotions, all of the feels, you're then going to get to that clarity, that mean point, that midpoint, right? Because you've got that solar plexus defined, you've got emotions that are constantly, it's like a wave of emotions. So if you make decisions based on how you feel in the moment, emotions, there's no truth in emotions. It's just energy that's in motion, right? So it's energy that's moving all of the time. So if you're making decisions based on how you feel in that given moment, the repercussions is based on the choices that you made at a later stage. Maybe you're at a different aspect of that wave, which means, say, for example, your friend says to you, okay, we're going for dinner on Friday, but it's Monday, and you say, yes, I feel good, like, I definitely want to go for dinner on Monday. And then Friday comes and you go, oh, all I want to do is actually stay inside. and then you feel guilty, and then you know, so it's just allowing yourself to in that moment, instead of saying yes based on how you feel, kind of go check in with yourself and say, can I let you know Friday morning, or can I let you know on Thursday, or when do you need to know by, so that you can give yourself time to get clarity, and that's going to help you to understand where you're headed. Just on a quick point, is you do need, you thrive on the change, you thrive on the experiences, you thrive on the wanting to experience different aspects within life, right? And for you, it's kind of making sure that you trust in the knowing that the answers will come at the right time. Because for you, it is about mastering the fact that you're constantly searching for answers. You're constantly searching to find clarity, and this is kind of where, like, you may be up in your head at the moment, maybe you're feeling a little bit like it's too much mental pressure, I'm trying to figure out where am I headed, instead of taking a step back and knowing, hang on, the answer will come to me, the idea will come to me, I will know in the moment, and then I'll make decisions based on waiting for clarity through, by checking in with myself, like sleeping on it for 24 hours, and then kind of saying, okay, hold on, I know exactly where I'm supposed to go now, or oh, this feels good because there's energy there, there's curiosity there, I'm naturally gifted at that as well. Does that make sense? Let us know in the comments.
And Jaclyn, so with Kelly tagging onto this, the piece that came in, Kelly, for you was this statement that you said, manifest your realities. And so literally what that means is it's as if you have all of these ideas, you have all these things you want to experience, and yet it's like the car, it's like you're in the car. So they're saying to me, it's like you're in the car is running, and you're just sitting there and you're smiling, and you're in the car and the car's running, and you're in the car and you're sitting in the car and the car's running. You got to put the car in drive.
No.
You've got to put the car in drive. And so each of these things that because I feel it very deeply, like you want to experience things. It's almost like, again, like this, not like a lull or a stagnation or like as your question, like, where am I headed, or like, what's next? There's this feeling of what's next? Like, is this it? It's kind of that feeling. And so the moral of the story is put the car in drive. Whatever you can do, and they're showing me multiple things. So as Jaclyn's articulate, like, write each one of them down. If sheet of paper for each idea, experience, thing, that because you're just revved up. It's like the car, it's like you're sitting in the car with your foot on the gas pedal, the car's in park, the engine's revved, and you're going nowhere fast. And you're wanting to go places, you're wanting to have experiences. And realize you may need to do some of these things, maybe all of these things, on your own. It may not be your desire. Someone may just be happy with the way things are. Well, okay, but that doesn't prevent you from putting yourself in the car and putting the car in drive and going to see what you want to see, do what you want to do, have those experiences, and just take the necessary steps to initiate them, to bring them, to manifest them, manifest your realities, bring them about. So where you're headed is where you decide to go. It's really that kind of profound and that simple, because nothing is preventing you from doing these things other than the stories we're telling ourselves. Well, I want so-and-so to do it with me, or I or this hasn't happened yet, or, and it all just builds upon itself instead of just go make it happen. Literally kind of, there's put the pedal to the metal and go. Do it. That's the moral. Let us know if that resonates with you. I see that she had a smiley face with crying, laughing tears. So, but Kelly, let us know if that resonates with you. I believe next up, if I'm not mistaken, Jaclyn, is Dominique.
Yeah, so she says, I'd love to know what 2022 has in store. And I know we briefly let me know, James. We spoke about more or less the energy of 2022 in last week, in the beginning of last week.
Yes.
We did. Hey.
Yes, we did.
So what I do recommend that you do, and what we can do, is we'll touch on a little bit as the energies flow as well for the year every week. But what I do recommend that you do, Dominique, is go and view our previous video or our previous show from last week, whether it be on Facebook or on YouTube. It is available there. And then we did speak about what is potentially in store for us for 2022 on a collective level. That's kind of how we started the show last week, which was the beginning of Jan.
Yes, of 2022. And so, and Dominique, so I think, here again, gate 61, is that correct, Jaclyn? The big question, and yet it's kind of nebulous, and, because she's saying, I'd love to know what 22 has in store. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure what she was saying was for me. Mm-hmm. So in that vein, Dominique, as well, I'm just listening very quickly for you to see, so what I'm hearing is like hidden mysteries, hidden agendas. You'll see again that we talked about the fact that this year and beyond, 2022 and beyond, is ruled. There's a lot of water and a lot of earth. It's all about the divine feminine. And in association with that, and Jaclyn mentioned earlier about the moon, and how it affects the tides and how we're all water. So this has to do with, again, the moon reveals. The moon has hidden mysteries. It has hidden wisdom, hidden knowledge. And even when we can't see her, or we see a part of her, it reinforces the theme of, and yet she's whole and complete. There's never an aspect of her that isn't whole and complete. She is a perfect sphere. She radiates and reflects light, or she rests, if you will, in the shadows, when the sun and the moon are side by side. It's a new, and yet that denotes, so the moon, at a new moon, the moon can't be seen because the sun and the moon are next to each other. And yet it denotes a new moon. So it means that there's newness coming in. So there's a lot. So why am I saying this to you? It's because, Dominique, hidden agendas, hidden mysteries, things that are hidden that will be revealed, and the cycles of the moon. So, and look at how that applies literally to the feminine and to the female body. The cycles of the moon is the cycles of the menstruation cycle and so forth. So you're going to want to, the way it's coming to me is, you're going to want to, you're going to want to give your divine masculine a rest. It denotes to me that you're kind of, take charge, what is it? Kick, and take names and that type of thing. I'm not going to use a cuss word. But it's that kind of thing. And this is about coming, again, like with Elizabeth, coming back home, meaning allow your divine feminine to lead, and do so from a place of authenticity, purity, goodness, oneness, wholeness. Because the way they're saying it to me is like, if you're out there doing a divide and conquer, and you're turning it on and turning it off and turning it on and turning it off, it sends mixed signals. People don't know how to receive you, how to get you. And so the more you learn about the moon, the divine feminine, the divine mother, the divineness of the moon cycles, how that influences us. I'm, obviously I'm a male in a physical body here, and yet the moon affects me. I'm very cognizant of what's happening with the moon, and when the moon is void of course, if it's a full day, I'll know it. I can feel it, and I'll be either very tired or things won't be coming together as quickly. And so you want to be cognizant of that as you move forward in 2022, because it is a banner year for you. That's what they're saying. It is a banner year. And what they mean by that is, a banner, it can be seen. A banner is a statement. It's kind of bringing yourself up, out, and forward. And in order to do that well, and when I say well and right, your highest and best, you're going to want to rely more and more and more on the divine feminine, your divine feminine, but from a place of goodness, not to use the feminine in a way that is less than. That is, you don't want to use it as a weapon or wield it as a tool, a weapon. It needs to be wielded with grace. It's like the hexagram 2 is the creative force. It means that it's, I'm sorry, that's hexagram 1. It's the yielding force. It's the divine feminine. And they associate it with the mare that is being guided. She's just is. She doesn't have to put on airs. She's not aggressive. She doesn't wield things. She just flows in a state of grace and beauty. It's the feminine force. So that's what I'm receiving for you. Let us know if that resonates, and we'll go on from there.
Okay, so I'm consciously aware of time. So I just want to sure, the words escape me now. I want to just mention to you guys, there we go. I just want to mention to you guys, with all this mysterious energy going around, I just want to mention to you guys that we have officially from last week, we have launched a 50-50 guidance session reading. If you must, it kind of flows with this double digit 2022 energy that we've got going for this year. So myself and James have partnered up, and we are offering a 60-minute session, which is 30 minutes human design, 30 minutes intuitive guidance. We're going to leave the link in the description box as well, in the comments, as soon as we're done with the recording. So you're more than welcome to go and get it there, and then you can kind of check it out and see if it resonates with you. If you want to do a 60-minute one-to-one session, 30 minutes with Dear James, intuitive questions. You can ask him any question and he'll give you that intuitive guidance. And then with me, 30 minutes based on your human design chart. So very much like what we do here, we just go in depth and we really get specific and practical, and we make sure that you get a sort of a transformation from the session, which is so brilliant because, like you see, I mean, these questions are so broad, yet there's so much value and so much answer that is available to you guys. And I imagine what will happen in the session. And then plus you do get the recording so that you don't have to, stress to scribble down all of the notes and things like that. Yes. James, do you want to add something as we close off?
Just thank you, everyone. And Dominique just said, yes, that resonates deeply. I've got a few messages about surrendering to the divine feminine. Thank you. And, thank you to all of you. And thank you, Jaclyn, the Lady Jaclyn. This is such a beautiful moment. It is grace and beauty, and it's our privilege and our honor. And we're so excited to offer this beautiful 50-50 joint offering, where we come together and offer intuitive insights and human design guidance to your life questions. So as Jaclyn said, we'll have the link in this and in future things, so you can book those privately if you would like to. And then again, just come, refer, like, share, subscribe, tag people, and let us know, and give us others, as I and Jennifer Stanley did. Give us other topics that you might like. We'll be guided and listen. But we're just thrilled to share this space with you each and every week. We love Wednesdays, and I love my beautiful co-host, the Lady Jaclyn, and we love all of you. So until next week, be well and wonderful, and really take this moment to go within and connect to your center, your soul source connection. And when you see the fine print, laugh. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, guys.
You've been listening to Dear James Live. Gain intuitive insight, answers, and advice to your life questions, and so much more by tuning in next week and visiting DearJames.com.